Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my friends on this Earthship. Welcome to my little Sunday portal of time that I reserve each week for this discussion of being the alchemist of your own life. So welcome. I'm Cindy Carter. I'm an intuitive, an artist, an energy healer, and a spirit consultant. And this is a series. It's a series of alchemy podcasts that I put on each Sunday. And it's a place to come if you're interested in self-awareness or self-responsibility, beyond all the New Age concepts and all the misdirections. This is concise, clear information to build on every week to gain a new understanding of yourself and your ability to be the Master Alchemist. So last podcast, we talked about the perspective aplenty. I talked about why I like the word aplenty, and no, it doesn't have to do especially with onion rings, but somewhat. And really about being able to casually broaden your perspective, to allow a new view of a situation, to be able to adapt to the situation, and to be able to thrive in your knowings. To become adaptable through a new perspective allows more harmony in your life. So I thought about thriving in harmony and how today's topic of spiritual responsibility go hand in hand. We truly cannot thrive on this earth without being spiritually responsible. And lately, I've had a lot of people coming to me that I need to remind this aspect of them. They've become victimized. And so today I want to kind of focus on your spiritual responsibility. And I have witnessed all kinds of deception and demise. But what I know is that it's my spiritual responsibility within all of it. So what I'm going to really talk about is not the responsibility of your body, or your atoms, or your cells, or your mind. It's really, we've been talking about that already, and I hope that you're already doing that, but what I'm talking about is the essence of you, the being responsible in this body to the cumulative spirit that's within you. You know, it's a level of reverence for your life span. How many lives have you had? And really, to be in reverence to these lives is to take the consciousness of the knowing of this wisdom. You know, the energy that, we leave when we leave our bodies, and the energy that goes with us without our bodies, that's the consciousness of divine. And it's within you right now for you to witness yourself within it, because you're simply not the body. And I know this is basic spiritual understandings, this part, but bear with me as I'm getting ready to traverse the multidimensional fields of spiritual responsibility. So what are we? If we're not physical, then we must be non-physical. Well, partly yes, right? But this non-physical state is our being, our essence, our divine, our spirit. So we're spiritual beings in a body. Our essence is often referred to as the soul. You have a soul expression named Joe. Well, Joe can also bring the highest wisdom from a past life or an ancestral trait, but that still makes him Joe in his body. In this current mind, in this current state of being, in this lifetime. And you are that. This accumulation in this body known as Joe. So being spiritually responsible is like allowing your future self to guide you. It's like this future self of you has come back from the future to guide your thoughts and your actions, your consciousness, and this version of you has already seen it, already been there, already got the t-shirt. I mean, they know what the lay of the land is. They know how you're going to react if you go this one way or this way. They know the obstacles. They know what you have been repeating in many lifetimes. Their understanding of the truth of you, this future self or this higher self version of yourself that some of you are now tapping into. Gut instinct, your heart desires. These are things that make you spiritually responsible. I would think that this would be a really loving direction, a very kind and easier path, perhaps, one that didn't have as many challenges or obstacles, where life became smoother. Well, not always. You see, compassion even allows your higher self or your future self to agree to arrange for a grand awakening. And if your current self can choose grand awakening and take off the blinders, then this path can become easier. But that's the responsibility of the self, to be responsible for our spirit. But there's many of us that require a really grand shakeup before our grand awakening. I was one of those. In my earlier life, I was not listening to my higher self. I was not allowing my future self to guide me. I was hopeless at one time. I was pained and I was over it. But that was not the end for me. And how the blinders were really strong, but I agreed to bring about an awareness of myself. Even in my disillusionment, even in my masking of the truth of myself, there was something about living my truth and allowing my love to flow. No matter how little time that was in my mind, it was there. That could have been a choice, right? Right before me. So if I choose not to suffer in my understanding and the responsibility of my own spirit, then what I'm doing is choosing the creation of love, because every being's truth is created by love. And that truth is part of creation and the flow of the universal spirit. Every being is capable of creating a life that fulfills desires of alignment with your spirit. It does take focus, and it does take commitment to yourself. We live in a matrix that is wanting that to not happen for you. Not that you are the victim of it. It's just that what we're swimming in, it's the environment. So let's move past the environment of our mind and take on some responsibilities now. This is where we put on our big girl panties. So that life, right here, right now, you get to choose what to be responsible for and what not to. I mean, we've all been taught many falsehoods about what is our responsibility. Like taxes or even continuing a galactic war or caring what other people think. None of these are things that are made in the creation of love and therefore are not aligned with the divine within us or what we have known as our truth or the truth within you. So all this time, I've been talking about you taking responsibility of your own spirit and your spiritual processes and your understandings. But what about all those people that are trying to save or convince others of their spirituality or of their path, or just trying to save others in general, like family members or someone else? Not allowing them to go down their ugly path because you think you know better, or you think that peace is a better thing for them right now. Maybe not. Maybe they're going where you wouldn't go. But really, it's none of your business. You can be here to assist them when they're ready. This is a fine line to walk with somebody when you are at the start of a path of giving them the understanding of their own power and their own universal rights and send them on their sovereign way, or the ones that choose to tell you what the path is and what steps are for you, or judging you along the way to see if you're worthy of this path or whatnot. This is often based in vampiric consciousness, threaded all through our society. When we feel we know the path of another person, no matter how psychic or intuitive we may be, this is partly manipulation. To not allow this person to make their sovereign soul-bearing choices. The cumulative choices that may not look perfect to another person, but we can never know the path of another. And you can never know how far someone has gone in the lifetimes that they have led. And in this body, they may choose that this is all they can do. No healer in the world can assist that. So that's what I'm saying. Your self-responsibility, your spirit responsibility. We can all allow suffering to cease by taking complete responsibility for how you view life. Often in my work, I find that people are really preoccupied, really concerned and focused on all kinds of outside influences. Well, there are 1,000 million trillion of them to look at right now. My God, from health to politics to societal influence, we are going through it. But are we going to look at it as being attacked physically, psychically, like it's black magic or some curse? That every time my knee hurts, it's because, my grandmother had a curse. No, I'm not going to live that way anymore. Either should you. You see, you don't have to allow the suffering of a thought or of a thought form, whether it came to you or it came from you. You don't have to accept any of that. You have to accept spiritual responsibility to your divine nature. Not every disturbance to you is an attack. It could be yourself attacking you. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about the focus of the activities around you and whether or not you may have created it so that you could wake up? Because where is the responsibility to your foundational core, to the element of love or peace within you? I know you haven't been taught it. That doesn't matter. You just have to know that it's there and that it's a true intention of yours. Where did you forget who you were? When you've been on the receiving end of an outside influence that's negative or highly negative, and you choose to see it as you're the victim of this influence, you have to realize that in a multidimensional process, you have a hand in the decisions and directions of all your lives. You do live in the past, present, and future at all times, and so does everyone else. There are agreements. There are contracts. There are understandings with others, and you may have been gifted that mastery on many levels. So what I'm saying is you have the ability to change your given repeated traumas, to see from a different place by putting your responsibility now on yourself as a spirit, not as a victim. If you're allowing another human to create a path for you, then it's you that's needing to change your view of the activity. That's unconscious participation. It's like personal cognitive dissonance or something. The thing you just can't see in yourself. But choosing a sovereign way of thought and being responsible for your spirit being is about changing the way you viewed the whole world. Where you can finally see your willing participation, even in the trauma, even in the victimhood. Even the longing for being strong and being aware. You were operating with a future self involved. And you're here to access your own awareness. So perhaps you're here to flip your thinking from victim to victor, from pain to thriving. So how? big question mark in the sky. How can I do it? By changing the importance you give everything. I mean, if you didn't come from here, you didn't know the language, you wouldn't give half of this crap the same importance. When someone tells me of some special oil they put on themselves to ward off the demons, I'm like, well, whatever. I've never heard of it, but that's fine. Whatever it does for you. Because you don't know in any given moment what's next, what's going to happen. So to view it with a new perspective and spiritual responsibility, you got a flat tire. It may mean you needed to stop because there was a bad wreck ahead, or that the road is so bumpy that it could have had really done some damage to you or someone else. You see, you aren't the one to know everything. You're not the know-it-all you think you are. You know, when you're in the victimhood, oh my God, the flat tire, now I've got a black curse on me, and because I know who did that, and they don't want me to be my shining light. This is what I hear all day long. And I'm getting to the point where I'm really being blunt with people because I don't have time to mamby-pamby around about self-responsibility. This is about self-love and compassion with yourself. The universe knows you and works with you and your higher self. So here you are. And you better get with the program and start claiming your strength and your peace. Claiming the boundaries of self-love and allowing yourself to see life from a new perspective. That all things are like a plot twist. Doesn't mean everything's positive. It's a neutral plot twist. It's only the importance that you put into it. If it's a self-loving idea, then do this. I mean, if someone runs over your rose garden with their car, you could look at it as an attack by the Andromedans, or that someone has a curse on you, or that you're not to be attached to this plot of land, and you're, to know something else right now that's more in alignment with your spirit. So you have to understand there are many multidimensional parts of you that need to see from different parts of yourself. When you give your spirit the power to walk you home. This is about perspective. And that's what a whole podcast a few weeks ago was about, was perspective. You can become more responsible for your spiritual presence and doing reverence and honor to the many lives that you've had here. You have a lifetime right now to understand and to be understood from your heart and to be aware of yourself in a new way. By seeing past the constructs of time and obligation and past life stories and new age deceptions, you step out of victim status. Being spiritually responsible for yourself and the furthering of your heart and your mind connected. Nothing else. It's a focus and it's an intention to live by. To create with your universe. To create with your higher self. So all the people that come to me with these demonic and vampiric activities can simply claim their power and move on. It's as simple as that, but it takes knowing who you are and be responsible for the spirit that you've been given. I personally didn't come to an earth to see how many cars I can buy in a lifetime or how many paper diplomas to prove my worth in a failed system. I'm here to further my soul, not to accept any cults, any false deities, any power-hungry spiritualists, any masked reptilians, or energies that keep me away from the focus of myself as a sovereign individual that wants to become aware of itself in its own love and its own connection to creation. That is all. When you allow your spirit to walk you home, you're in alignment with Source, with the universal wishes of gifting you with the awareness of love, of the awareness of peace, because you became responsible for your spirit. You made decisions each day to rid your mind of the dimensional deceptions, of the past life stories and the importance or lack of that, or listening to the voices of other humans to tell you other stories. Come back to yourself. Learn who you are and allow the spirit of yourself to walk you home. Back to the higher place of yourself, to walk in benevolence on this earth. You can walk on this earth with no outside influence by accepting the power of your own spirit, the responsibility of yourself, and the need to move with the universe and not be attached to how you think it should be. Love is the powerful qualifier of all our lives. I've got some love on my website for you in the form of a free ebook. It's called Solene, the Ancient One, and it's a compilation of channelings from my higher self that guided me into my newer awareness. I've also got something to accelerate the movement of your awareness. It's called the Template of Grace. It's an 11-day meditation that's more like an alchemy of the consciousness of yourself to accept more grace in your life. It's a download right on my website, 11 MP3s. So we just need to understand for ourselves that the ability for us to all walk in our responsible nature of reverence and compassion and love for all the beings will further our progression into a very peaceful society. So please be responsible for that beautiful spirit you've been gifted for us all. Many blessings.